Hey, I got a question. I thought about this. I actually watched the fight again just a little bit ago, sitting in the garage. But
You always make me nervous when you say I got a question. It's like
yeah,
you
well,
got a
I
bone
don't
to
have a.
pick with me.
I do this to you all the time because I've never been a UFC champion, so I don't have the
Yet,
perspective that you have. Not
yet.
yet. Not yet. But there's some guys out there that guys like Chimaev, perfect example. Like you just know that guy's going to be a champion at some point in time.
Mm,
It's just a matter of time. And then there's some people that have I don't know, they have the skills and abilities to be champions. They have, championship mindsets, championship work ethic, but it seems like sometimes shit just falls the wrong way and it just takes longer. And I think you're one of those guys where you were always good enough to be the champion. It's just some guy, I don't know. Some people just get all the luck, if that makes sense. Like some things just fall their way. And I feel like I'm one of those guys where I know that I'm good enough to be the champion. It's just up to this point I just haven't had a string of really good luck or
mm,
really good
mm.
circumstances. I feel like Sandhagen is kind of that type of a guy where like he could be a champion at any point in time. It's just he had a really close fight with Dillashaw and he had the same situation with Peter Yan where he looked really good at the beginning and then kind of fell off at the end. Did you know that during your career? Like, did you feel like, fuck, I'm good enough to be there and just shit's not always working out my way, or like I kind of get fucked around every corner? Or were you always like, fuck, am I gonna win one? Or like what did that feel like?
Yeah. No, that's an interesting question, and I guess it kind of resonates to a lot of people on different levels in life. And not just through fighting. If you believe in yourself and you know the work that you're putting in, that gives you confidence. And you see the results in the gym. I knew what I was capable of. I knew I was good enough to do that. I knew I could compete with the best. Yeah, I had some losses, I had a couple of bad knockouts as well along the way, but I had some fights like the Chael Sonnen one, who went on to fight for the belt on 2 occasions. I knew I was good enough to compete, but it's not bad luck. You can't say that. It wasn't a string of bad luck. I lost some fights, but you just got to stay the course and regroup and not give up on yourself, because but when you put the hard work in and your coaches are confident in you and everyone's around you and you're sparring top people and you're always bringing in new training partners, you're like, shit, I know I can do this. I know, but you've just got to never give up. Simple as that. Do you know what I mean? And if you're young enough, and to be fair, I was getting better along the way anyway. Like I said, yeah, I lost that fight to Chael Sonnen, and had I have won, I'd have fought for the belt. But I'll be honest, I reckon I would have lost to Anderson then anyway. And don't all start, oh yeah, because he hadn't snapped his leg yet then. No, what I mean is mentally, I wasn't where I was when I did become the champion. Do you know what I mean? Because the
Mhm.
mental side of things controls so much of it. And I sound like a broken record when I say that because I do talk about that a lot. But I was too emotional back then. And throughout time and working with Jason Perillo more and more and more, yeah, you never give up. That'll be you, Anthony. You'll get there. You still got fucking plenty of time. I hate the fact how young you are because you've been around so long. You know what I mean? It feels like you're about
Mhm.
my age, probably more mature as well. But, quitters never win, as a wise man once said, Anthony. Who said that?
Quitters, no, I don't know. Who said that?
Bro, you
Who
don't
said
know
that?
the famous line, quitters never win?
Oh, I've heard it.
You've never read the Sunday Times bestseller autobiography by Michael the Count Bisping?
Do I look like do I look like a guy that reads, number 1? Number 2, I've asked you to send me a book like 100 times. You're like, "Oh, everybody wants a book, and I'm out of books." And
Books don't fall out of the sky. Okay, all right, fair enough. The paper falls out of trees. We get the paper, we write on them. I will get you a book, Anthony. I will
okay.
get you a book. I'll get
Well,
you a book.
so I brought that question up because Corey Sandhagen said something really interesting that everyone was kind of sounding the alarm on. Everyone's kind of panicking on Corey Sandhagen, like, "Oh, well, maybe he's done," which is so crazy to me that they do that to someone so young and so good. But he said, "I don't really give a fuck about my last two fights. Yeah, there were losses, but they were the two best guys in the world. One was on short notice versus TJ Dillashaw, and the other one to the second best bantamweight in the world. Like it was weird to me that he was completely unbothered.
Mm.
'Cause like when I lose, I'm a ticking fucking time bomb. Like it eats me up and drives me crazy. And like I'll see that person and just like a lot of times just want to fight him right there. Not because I have anything against him, because I hate losing
Mm.
way more than I
Yeah,
like winning.
yeah.
So I just thought it was an interesting mindset. And he just kind of went on to say, like, listen, I'll win. I'll get it. Like, I'll win the title eventually. Like, I'm unbothered by how long it's going to take and how many more fights and when's the title fight. He's like, I'll get there eventually. Like, I know that
Yeah.
I'm good enough to. I just thought it was like an interesting mindset.
That was kind of how I was, to be honest, because he's doing the right thing, because you got to try and stay confident. You got to try and take the positives out of every situation. You know what I mean? And yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he went there against Dillashaw. He lost. Had he have won, he'd be fighting for the belt on Fight Island now.
Well, I thought he won that fight. To be fair.
It was one of those. It's debatable,
Yeah.
isn't it? It's back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
You can make a case either way. But beating yourself up, focusing on the negative of it is just going to eat you up inside. Do you know what I mean? It's going to drive you crazy at night, and you're going to start feeling sorry for yourself and develop a victim complex. You just got to look at the positives and go, well, the guy that's fighting for the belt, I pushed him right to his fucking limit. And a lot of people thought that I won. So there you go. That tells me everything I need to know. Yeah, I thought the judges fucked up. Yeah, I lost some money. But in the wider community, I didn't lose any respect. I'm still right there, and that's how anytime I'd have lost, that was kind of the approach that I took. Yeah, of course, immediately you're pissed off because, as I say, the financial ramifications are an issue. You know what I mean? You do lose money, but you've got your sights set on the bigger picture. You know what I mean? Like, you're not doing this to make paychecks. You want to do that. You want to provide for your family, but you want to be champion of the world. You want to create a legacy. You want to go down in history as a fucking UFC world champion. And I'm sure you'll get there. Do you know what I mean? But do you truly believe, Anthony?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think similar to what you said, like, I pushed Glover to his absolute fucking limits, and he went
There
in
you go.
and maybe, the end of it didn't look like that, but the first 3 rounds were some of the tougher rounds Glover's had in a long time. And he went on to win a title. I feel like I was right there with Ankalaev, and everyone claims he's the next coming of Jesus in the light heavyweight division. And I feel like that fight was very close, and I feel good about it. And so I'm trying to have that similar mindset to Sandhagen. Like,
Yeah.
I'll fucking get there. Like,
Yeah.
I'll get it. I don't have any doubt in my mind that eventually I'll have that belt around my waist. But I did take a little bit from him, though, of like, you know what? He's fucking right. Like, I'll get there eventually. We'll get one.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, because you are right there. And not just you, Sandhagen, those kind of fighters. It's hard enough to get into the top 15 these days because the UFC has such a packed roster, let alone the top 10. Top 5, fighting the best guys that go on to become champions. If you're there, you're competing, you're just a couple of tiny little tweaks away from being the man.